Iran's reaction to the arrival of United States Marines in the Middle East on March 30, 2026 has just become more direct. Tehran didn't just respond with words. The regime responded with an official threat, a public rejection of Washington's demands, continued pressure on the Strait of Hormuz, and new attacks against energy and industrial targets in Israel and the Gulf. The Iranian warning was accompanied by concrete actions, not just simple rhetoric. What Iran actually did first was to harden its official stance. The spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Esmail Baghai, said that the peace proposal sent by the United States was excessive, unrealistic, and irrational. At the same time, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, president of the Iranian parliament, treated the arrival of American troops as a sign of a ground invasion. And he stated, according to the Associated Press and Iranian state media, that Iranian forces were waiting for American soldiers to set foot on Iranian soil. In other words, to also target their regional partners. In other words, Iran responded, clearly stating that it interprets the military buildup as a direct threat. Second, Iran maintained military pressure as the Marines arrived. In practice, this became evident. On March 29, an industrial area in Neot Rovav, near Beersheva, was hit by an Iranian missile or by interception debris. The site houses chemical and industrial plants, and firefighters isolated the area because of hazardous materials. On March 30, a gasoline tank and an industrial building at the Haifa refinery were hit by debris from an intercepted missile during a new attack. This shows how Iran is targeting critical infrastructure to raise the economic and psychological cost of the war. Third, Tehran has broadened the message beyond Israel. The Associated Press reported that, in the same escalation cycle, Iran hit a power and desalination plant in Kuwait. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia intercepted 5 missiles aimed at its eastern province, a vital oil area. There was also missile interception over Dubai, and another Iranian ballistic missile entered Turkish airspace before being shot down by NATO defenses in the eastern Mediterranean, according to Reuters. That answers the question about where this reaction is happening, not only on Israeli territory, but throughout the strategic Gulf region and the surrounding area. Fourth, Iran continued to use the Strait of Hormuz as a political and economic weapon. In a statement sent to the UN Security Council and the International Maritime Organization, Tehran stated that only non-hostile ships can cross the strait as long as they coordinate their passage with Iranian authorities. The same statement excludes vessels linked to the United States, Israel, or participants in what Iran calls aggression. In practice, this confirms that the Iranian response includes selective controls over navigation in one of the most important corridors on the planet. It's not just a military threat, it's direct pressure on energy, trade, and global supply. Fifth, the regime has signaled that it may further deepen the political rift. Reuters reported that the Iranian parliament is reviewing a possible withdrawal from the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. The message is clear. If the American military presence continues to grow and the war escalates, Iran may also respond in the nuclear and diplomatic arenas. On the American side, the arrival of the Marines and troops from the 82nd Airborne Division has expanded Washington's options, including for operations related to Hormuz, Karg Island, and Alvus inside Iranian territory, according to Reuters. That's exactly why Tehran's reaction was so harsh. The regime understood that this is not just a defensive buildup. For Iran, the arrival of these nearby military forces paves the way for a more aggressive phase of the war. And why is that? Because Tehran wants to show that any step toward a ground invasion will have a regional, economic, and military response. Iran responded with concrete measures to show that it intends to raise the cost of escalation.